Not content with your content? You've come to the right place. The DisContent Show with Joe Kuzma. Every brand starts with a story. Here's how you can grow your business by sharing it. Now, with today's topic, the host of the DisContent Show, Joe Kuzma.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the DisContent Show. My name is Joe Kuzma, and I am the host extraordinaire here. I say that with a smile because I want you to have fun with content marketing. In fact, today I'm going to take a little departure away from what has been the norm over the last few episodes, over the last couple of weeks. I wanted to get through the first few pillars that were the most important, kind of your foundation for content marketing, building your platform by which you are marketing in the digital world, the new media, right? I talked about the benefits of having a blog, the benefits of having a podcast, and how if you want anyone to visit your blog, read your stuff, or listen to your podcast, you got to be on social media too. And there are some downfalls to that, some pitfalls to that. And just to be clear, just to go rewind just a little bit, your blog, you could type whatever you want on Facebook, but you know what? It goes away after a while. It goes away almost immediately when you're on Twitter. So what you want to do is you want that on your website, on your blog. So people have a place to go back, a place to find it if they Google search for you. You can talk about your blog on a podcast. So the spoken word may be even more powerful than the written word because our attention spans, well, we're going to listen to any type of audio recording longer than what we're going to read. But you could basically kill two birds with one stone and cover both topics the same way. And I actually did this. I have a blog post that already went up last week speaking about some of these tools that can save you some time posting to social media. And that's today's topic. But that third pillar was social media. Of course, as always, I want to keep this simple. I like the KISS method. I like 80-20 vision. That means if it's not worth your 80%, it goes in your 20%, then you're not dealing with it. Just being efficient and making things easy on yourself. A lot of times this isn't your primary deal here. This is an aside. This is something to help get your name out. So when you're on social media, of course, I said Facebook, you got to be on it. Twitter, you got to be on it. Those are kind of the two necessary evils. I'm going to go over some tools today that'll help you post to both, even simultaneously. As far as the others, Instagram doesn't really have any backlinks. Snapchat, it disappears overnight. Everybody's on LinkedIn. You know what LinkedIn is like, but a lot of times LinkedIn, you have to do it from a personal level with your own profile versus a business page or nobody's going to see it. It's kind of like Facebook, except Facebook, you could boost posts and run ads for your business page. It'll help you get seen with those sponsored posts. And some of it will it might get out there organically depending on your audience as well. Instagram, like I said, no backlinks. You can't really share links. It's all photo driven. It's almost like its own little side deal, all its own in the social media world, as is Pinterest, but it does have some links back. But people that end up finding you on Pinterest probably find you through Google Images, to be completely honest. There's a few others probably off the top of my head, like Google Plus seems like a ghost town, but it's part of Google's sandbox and you want to be there for search reasons. And YouTube, absolutely. If you have video content, you got to be on YouTube because you're going to show up in Google search engine 60% of the time. Video is going to rank higher than just any other type of link. And all of these other social media platforms do rank high, may rank higher than your own website. Don't let that discourage you. People are fast-paced. You're going to scroll through things real quick. You're going to move your fingers, tap your thumbs. That's why you got to try and grab attention where you can and make it as easy as possible for people to find you and your information. And that's kind of where I'm at with the social media thing too, because like I said, being consistent, the sweat equity of putting things out. Don't overwhelm yourself. By all means, if you want to be on as many platforms there as humanly possible, go right ahead. But if you can't do 4 or 5 social media platforms effectively, and let's say you just don't end up posting anything to Instagram, it's probably worse leaving that abandoned or dormant or just, pretty much bare as opposed to just not having it at all. So don't stretch yourself too thin. There's some tools here that'll help you. I may even throw in an extra bonus one or two that I did not cover on the blog because, like I said, I could tell you don't want to read a novel on this. But however, if you were to ask me, my daily routine as a social media manager, what are the tools that I end up using and using the most and love and cannot live without? Well, I don't even want to say top of the list, but Dropbox has almost become as vital as having a phone or having an email address or using Microsoft Office. In my case, I can't live without Office. I know there's some Apple fans out there. Kudos to you. I don't care for the Apple suite when it comes to the Office stuff. But Dropbox, there's nothing else as good as Dropbox. I don't care. iCloud. Google Drive is kind of up there. If you're not familiar with these are cloud services. Microsoft has one called OneDrive, and it kind of bogs down your computer. It's not as intuitive to get through on the web, and the apps can be cumbersome at times. Dropbox just works. It's almost seamless. It's fast. It uploads your files to the cloud fast. It downloads them fast. Changes are almost seamless across. Like, I could save something right now. I'll give you an example. I have my laptop of which I use to record these episodes, and if I save something to Dropbox here on our laptop, by the time I even walk to the other room in my office and look on my regular desktop computer, because I keep all my recording stuff separate, just, I'm a tech guy, okay? I go there, and guess what? It's already on in Dropbox, already uploaded, saved on my computer to do whatever I want with it. Even if I want to play it back in the car, I could use a smartphone. I could use my iPhone app for Dropbox to play the audio file. I could use it on my iPad. You could save things for offline storage too with the apps. So a lot of these programs are kind of freemium, in meaning that they offer some type of trial and or free tier of service, as well as paid or pro or upgrades or whatever you want to call them. And that's going to cost you some money. So take it for what it's worth. If you enjoy these things, or you feel that you use them enough that you would like to pay the creators of them for their hard work and effort, then feel free to do so. If you don't, then that's fine. You could use them for free as well. I have no dog in this fight. So if you like something, buy it. If you don't, that's your prerogative. One way or another, I don't make a penny off of mentioning these programs, apps, services, any of this stuff today. So, but Dropbox, a pretty big one for me. You could also share files with other people you may collaborate with clients or customers or anybody like that. So it is a far-reaching program, and there's a lot of other little things that are tied into Dropbox. You could actually save, let's say you take a photo with your iPhone, and it's even Android phones. I mean, I'm an iPhone guy. I'm an Apple guy, but I have Android devices too. I'm also in the Amazon ecosystem. I kind of dabble with everything. I already mentioned Microsoft. I got my hands everywhere. And any of these devices, let's say you take a photo with your phone and you feel it's almost like locked onto your device. How do I get this off of my phone? Some people will screen capture it. They'll send themselves a text message or put it in an email. You don't have to do that. There's ways to just save it to Dropbox, and you have the full high resolution, hopefully high quality, nice photo that you took with your fancy phone. Because face it, these phones are pretty much digital cameras. They have replaced them. So, and pretty much high end digital cameras. My first digital cameras didn't take the sharpest or best photos. So this is a way you can get these things. You could use it for receipts. I mean, it's vital just in your business. You could do anything and get it to Dropbox, but you can save things to Dropbox. A lot of these apps, and you'll find this because I mentioned this on a recent blog post about Instagram. One of the other reasons I'm not the biggest Instagram guy is if you create collateral materials for Instagram, there's no way to really use the web. Now, there's some hacky ways around it that I could tell you about. For those who are less technically inclined, I don't even want to go there because it's a little confusing. And then you're going to wonder why every website you go to looks like you're looking at it on your phone. So for the most part, you got to transfer files either from your phone to your computer or your computer to your phone. And the best way to do that, quite frankly, is Dropbox. There's a few other ways to do that as well. But in order to usually post something to Instagram, it's got to be from your phone. Unfortunately, that's the way it's always been set up, even though if you didn't know this already, Facebook owns Instagram. And Facebook, you could use that pretty much any way, which way you want, whether it's on a computer, web browser, an app on one of these, tablets or smartphone devices. But Dropbox, free for like maybe the first, I think, 2 gigabyte of data that you have for cloud storage. And then if you invite friends and they sign up, and there's other things you could do to get some more free storage. And it's inexpensive too, maybe like $10 a month, or they give you so much off for a year if you sign up for the full year, something of that nature. So I find it to be the most reliable of all of the services, the cloud storage services that I've used. But if you use something else or you like something else, I'm sure Google Drive and others just like it. They're Dropbox competitors, work in a similar fashion. So cloud storage is a big deal, a big time saver for me when it comes to putting anything on social media. Now, you got something, you got a photo that's saved. Maybe you want to type up some text, okay? Now, this is where it gets interesting because I have fat thumbs, fat fingers, small phone screen, right? And autocorrect. So those two things don't go well together. And I often find myself, if you put something on Twitter, you can't edit it. You got to delete it. So how do you get refined, grammatically correct, spell checked, proofed, edited stuff from, I don't know, even on your Instagram, or how do you get it on social media? Well, one thing is, I already let the cat out the bag when it comes to using a Microsoft Word, but there's a plugin for Word. There's a standalone app for as well. Grammarly has a free service, and that'll help you with some punctuation or asking you if you mean certain words in a certain way. Now, it gives you a lot of bad advice too, so you got to use your best judgment. And of course, if the least formal that you are, if you have an informal setting for a blog or a podcast, the more you could get away with versus a professional setting. So keep these things in mind, of course, as you're typing things away. But if you even use Microsoft Word and you type it up now, you could copy and paste what you've typed. It is correct. To your eyeball, it's correct. You could even do the hashtags. Do it all. Even put your website link all in there at once. So all you have to do is, if you're doing something from your phone, all you have to do is tap to copy and paste and put it into social media if it's on your phone. If you end up doing something and you're putting it in a different service, you could copy and paste it into there. I'll be talking about that in a second. But one good way to get text back and forth, you could do this with photos too, but it tends to be a little slower, clunkier, takes up time, storage, and things of that nature. There's a service called Pushbullet. And basically how Pushbullet works is it's like a clipboard that's in the cloud. So I'll actually find something like a link to a website that I want to read later. Maybe I see it on my phone and I want to read it on my computer. It's on my computer. And I don't have time to do this today. I was in my email. I opened the link. I'm going to copy this, or I'm going to hit a button because they have an extension for Google Chrome or other browsers, I'm sure, as well. And you paste this in and it goes, and now I could even retrieve it through my iPad app and read it on my tablet when I'm laying in bed at night at my leisure. So Pushbullet is a lifesaver for me because it helps me to copy and paste some of the social media, let's say, descriptions, titles, even the links to a blog or a podcast. I'll put that stuff there, and then I could retrieve it later and post it at my during any time in my free time. You get these phones on you all the time, unless you're like me. I throw it in the other room sometimes because I just don't want to be bothered in the evening, and I got to unplug and unwind. But Pushbullet is a big time saver for me. Now, another one that's very similar like this that you could get away with typing a lot of stuff into is called Evernote. Now, it's free for 2 devices. So if you go to install the dedicated app to application or software to your computer, be it a PC or a Mac, that could count as 1 device. And then if you happen to have a tablet and a phone, you're stuck. But you could use the web browser version on the computer. So usually I recommend, if you're sticking to the free service, use it on your phone, use it on your tablet as far as those 2 registered devices, and then go ahead and use the web app because you could use it anywhere. Even if you're traveling, you can go in a business center, at any hotel, or maybe you're in an airport and you have access to a computer, and you could log in via the web by going to Evernote. I think it's evernote.com. Everything's there. You can make notebooks. You can make individual notes. You could also put photos and things in there too, but they also have a storage limit. Keep that in mind. So basically text. And this helps too, because if you want to use voice dictation for something, if you need some quick notes, something is on your mind and you don't want to lose it. You're using hands-free in your car or something, and, trust me, I'm not text while you drive. Don't do anything like that. But you got the hands-free, and you're able to tap on like an Evernote or something. You're at a stoplight, or let's say you just parked your car somewhere. I'm going shopping, for example, and you're going to buy groceries. I'm in the parking lot, and something pops in my brain, because that's the way it works for me. Subconsciously, I think of things, and then I will forget them 5 minutes later because I'm always thinking of different things. So I will start talking. I will use Siri or Alexa or something, and I'll make a note within Evernote, and the dictation might not work out the way you want it to, but that's for you to fix later, because you could copy paste that, put it in Word, put it in Grammarly or one of these other programs to proofread. You could use both. You could use Word and Grammarly. Like I said, Grammarly can actually plug into Word. Just a word of caution, and it'll even tell you this: you can't undo anything once it makes corrections. So you might want to save a duplicate of something if you're afraid of absolutely wrecking any of your work. But for the most part, that won't happen. But Evernote, lifesaver as well. It'll help you keep track of things, and you keep them for like forever. So many of the other properties that I have, other brands that I work with, I still have notes from years ago, and I can refer back to them. Again, a free service that offers a paid upgrade should you want to use that. Now, none of this stuff really sounds like you're getting the social media, right? But these are all tools where what you're doing is that this will help you compile blogs, take notes for podcasts, save photos that are for either or for social media, and helps you get this stuff on any device that you use rather than having to retype it or go long form or anything like that. And it'll help you so it's, within reason. Like I was typing something today, and robots don't know that from and form are two different words depending on the context. So keep that in mind. The human eye is still good. You still want to read something and make sure it makes sense to you, even though a robot says it's right or wrong. However, this will help everything look very professional when you go to publish your content. When you go to actually publish and promote this stuff, though, you need some other tools. And these are the tools that I can't live without. In fact, the one I really can't live without is Trello. And I was going to debate on which one to say first, but Trello really is the big one. For anyone who knows me personally, I make Trello boards for everything from the video games I play to the movies I'm going to see. I attach dates to them. I've been working on, there's a lot of Hollywood sequels that come out. So there are multiple movies beforehand that were released in a particular series. And I'll even put dates on it just so I could keep organized and know when that movie releases by and how much time I have before, these Marvel movies. There's like 18 of them. I had to figure out how much time I had and in what order I should watch them. And Trello you could pretty much customize it to any needs. They have something, I think it's called, if you Google search for it, it may even be just as simple as Trello.com/inspiration. But if you look for Trello inspiration, they give you all kinds of ideas. Everything from creating, dinner planning boards so you can make meals for the family. This will actually, though, with social media in mind, you can add the calendar power up to this, attach dates, and actually work on a process from idea or concept to draft to needs review to ready to published and done. You can make however many lists or cards or individual projects. This is project management at its finest. It's the easiest tool that I've found to use, and it works on everything. So if you have a tablet or a phone, or you're just using it through a web browser, it is completely universal and pretty much foolproof. the actual cards themselves, you could put descriptions, you could comment, you could add other team members if you got people that are in with you on a particular endeavor. You could all work together and collaborate within there. There's checklists. You could put attachments, files, photos, just anything, everything. I may have said those twice, but I cannot stress just how great of a tool this is. And if you need other, business class type, collaboration and upgrades and things, they also have a paid service in addition to that. But the free version of Trello works excellent and with pretty much no limitations other than how many power-ups or kind of widgets and things you could attach to an individual board. Now, once you have all this laid out, you're organized. You've used Dropbox to move a photo from your phone to your computer, and you've put that on a Trello card with a date, and you've proofed your text, and you've got that in maybe a Trello card as a description. You have everything ready to go, and then you publish it on your blog, you publish a podcast, or maybe this is just strictly a social media deal this time. How do you get it out to all of these different Facebooks and Twitters and Google Pluses or LinkedIn's or without wasting a ton of your time? Because then you have to log in and log out, and you have a personal Twitter and you have a company Twitter, and maybe you have like a third Twitter that you use just to look at things so people don't know what it is you're liking or following or things like that. Trust me, people do that type of thing. So you want to use a program called Hootsuite to tie it all together. Now, Hootsuite will allow you, at least on a computer, on a traditional desktop PC or Mac, you could create different, I'm trying to think of the word they use for it. I think they call it streams. And you can monitor if people are mentioning your accounts. You can monitor your own posts, people who send you messages through these applications. And they have some tie-ins on the paid level for like Instagram or Pinterest or something. Now, those don't necessarily work too well as advertised, because Instagram, all it's going to do is it's going to tell you to install the app on your phone. It's going to give you a notification when you set a time through the regular web browser version of Hootsuite. And then it's going to tell you to copy the text and copy the photo and all that. And that's part of the paid service. And I've already told you how to do that in layman's terms anyway, by using a combination of things such as Pushbullet or Dropbox. So don't feel like you see that on Instagram and you think maybe, oh, there's a way to do this through the web and it's a shortcut. It's not. It really is not. But if you want to use it, and you could go up to 3 social media profiles at one time, which usually hits most of the benchmarks for most people, because you're going to have Facebook, you're going to probably have Twitter. But if you want to hit something like a Google Plus or a LinkedIn, and you don't want to have all these different tabs and windows open and copy paste and maybe make a mistake, you could have one unified box with a message. It's a little cumbersome to get used to at first, I'll admit. It's clunky, especially when you're using it through the web. Now, the apps, if you use an app like on your phone or on your iPad, they're pretty easy, but some of them are limited to which social media accounts. You could at least do Facebook and Twitter. I think Google Plus is one that's not part of using the app, for example, on the iPhone. But if you see something while you're out and about in the wild and you see it pertains to your content marketing efforts and you got to put it out there right now, right at this moment, you could do it on the actual smartphone app. So Hootsuite has a ton of benefits. Don't let it discourage you. It's not as hard as it looks. If all you ever do, as soon as you set it up, all of these things are kind of like, you got to put some time in to set them up. But once they're set up, they're going to save you time in the long run. So once Hootsuite's connected to your social profiles, it can now post to them. Not often do you have to re-authenticate unless there's a change at Twitter, or you have to change your password because someone's trying to hack into your account or something of that nature. So you have this all set up, and all you got to worry about is that box at the top and, checking the profiles you want to post to and when, and you could schedule, you could attach the file or the images. Sometimes video, you can do video with that too. Just keep in mind that Twitter does have a limit. I think it's like something about like might be just under 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes tops that you could put on there. Google Plus is no video, which is kind of dumb because it should really tie into YouTube, but it does not. YouTube is something that it's its own kind of entity that we'll talk about here on a future episode. Most of the stuff you're going to post on YouTube is only going to be to YouTube. You could use Facebook video as well, but it goes in the oblivion like any other Facebook post. So I'm not always the biggest fan, but when you have content, you can repurpose it and have it in multiple areas. Why not? And this is what Hootsuite really allows you to do, because you can hit 2 or 3 of these profiles all at once. And if you're already using the push bullet method or a Dropbox method or something from your phone, you could even hit the Instagram stuff while you're at it. You could do things with Snapchat, of course, but like I said, don't stretch yourself too thin on these things. Try and keep it simple. Try and keep it to where you're comfortable. These are some of the best services. There are other services that compete with Hootsuite. Buffer is one of them. Delivereit is another one. Buffer is somewhat easy, but it's a little more complicated in some senses to maybe set up. But once you got it, it works the same way. Delivereit, unfortunately, is very not user-friendly. So I can't necessarily recommend their stuff. And of course, all of these services allow you either on a free or a paid tier to automatically publish things from your blog if you could tie in that way. Sometimes that's a blessing, sometimes that's a curse. Like I said, automation, you got to have the human eye there versus the robot sometimes, because if you screw something up and then you put it out in the wild, you end up wasting more time making corrections. So I don't say necessarily to always automate everything, but you could automate some things using some of these services. Another one that I use that I'm going to throw in on this that wasn't on the blog is IFT. It's IFTTT. If you search for it, it ties into social media and so many other things. I mean, you could even use it for home automation. But the scary part of that is that sometimes these things, I'll give you an example. If you set it to retweet an account, which I was trying to do with my personal Joe_Kuzma from one of my blogs that I operate, and it puts in a big, ugly capital R, capital T, and it has a mention of the account. And it's not the original tweet that you actually just want to kind of propagate around and amplify through the internet from the original source. It's tweeting as you and just mentioning the other account, which does absolutely zero benefit when it comes to your, let's say, Twitter, for this example, your Twitter analytics and seeing how many impressions you get from a specific tweet. So just keep those type of things in mind. You can use those type of services to maybe, if you post something to Instagram, it'll grab it and put it on Twitter and Facebook. Now, Facebook, it looks a little more natural because Facebook owns Instagram. But once again, when that Instagram post, the robots that be take that and they put it out on Twitter, it comes with an ugly Instagram link and sometimes doesn't even show the photo, and it almost looks like a mistake or a bot. And guess what? People swipe right by it without paying any attention, and you get no juice from it. So you got to get the juice. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully these tools that I've mentioned today will help you save time and be more efficient when posting to social media and going about your strategy in your social media campaigns. If you have any questions for me, of course, I'm always available over on my website, joekuzma.com. There's a contact link there. If you don't see it, tap on the little 3 bars at the top. They call that the hamburger menu because it looks like a hamburger sandwich, 2 buns and the meat, and you'll see it there. So, and of course, you could catch me on social media, but always more reliable through the website. Until next time, folks, we'll catch up on these other pillars and other benefits, and I'll find some more tips and tricks to help you with your content marketing strategy. Be safe and be good, and I'll catch you later. Hi, folks. This is Joe Kuzma. No, don't worry. You're not hearing things twice. I'm just here to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for listening to today's show and being a follower and subscriber of the DisContent podcast. And I want to remind you that if you're interested in more information about all the various things it is that I do, whether it be about this show, content marketing, or you want to ask a question, you may visit me at joekuzma.com. That's JOEKUZMA.com. Or you can follow me as well on Facebook. Make sure you get the page and not the personal profile. Sorry, it's only for friends and family. Also on Twitter at Joe_Kuzma, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Also, don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe, whether that be on iTunes, YouTube, or your favorite podcast provider, so you don't miss out on any of the great episodes that we have. Once again, thank you again for your support, and I look forward, as always, to speaking and interacting with each of you again soon.